Could households be made more recession-proof? There's certainly scope for government policy to make a significant difference. Creating a more diverse economy with less reliance on both the financial services sector and imported energy would help, as would an increase in exports. All of these would help make the economy less vulnerable to market-based problems, financial crises in particular. A significant reduction in both inequality and poverty would also help. The UK has one of the most unequal societies in the developed world, with far too many vulnerable households. And these have been hardest hit by both inflation and austerity, not least because they rely upon government services the most. Policymakers should also consider the outcomes we want, rather than focusing purely on the numbers. True, the UK currently has a high level of public debt and a less than sparkling economy, but the same was true after the Second World War. That's why it's well worth Googling William Beveridge, who, undaunted, or perhaps even motivated by this rather depressing situation, produced an ambitious vision of what post-war social policy could achieve, with a strong focus on inequality. It was compelling enough to inspire the incoming Attlee government, and it resulted in nearly 30 years of rising living standards, falling inequality, and of course the NHS. Regrettably, not all of the governments that followed have been similarly inspired. But government policy is only part of the answer, not only because of the timescales involved in developing and implementing a new strategy, but also due to the disconnect associated with Westminster being very different to the reality of most people's lives, even here in London. That's why it's essential that local authorities are in a position to actively support people in the communities who want to change things, preferably sooner rather than later. Encouragingly, there are more of those around than you might think. Repowering London is a great example. Working with local authorities and other organizations, it's been driving forward community-owned renewable energy projects across the capital. These include Bannister House Solar in Hackney, which is currently the largest social housing-based, community-owned energy operation in the city. The people living in Bannister House were closely involved in setting the project up. They also decide how the proceeds are spent. And in the process, Bannister House has acquired something of a new vibe. Energy Garden also facilitates community solar farms, but this time they're linked to London's rail infrastructure, as are the community gardens they support. The energy generated beside the tracks on engine shed roofs and at stations is sold into the national grid, and the profits support things like community vegetable gardens. Because they're at railway stations, they're highly visible, providing healthy food, relaxation, and horticultural skills. And while people can take their profits out in money, as it turns out, potatoes, peppers, squashes, or even beer are often preferred. Projects like these not only support and strengthen the resilience of communities generally, they also help improve the lives of individuals, at the same time reducing the need for expensive and polluting fossil fuels. They also demonstrate that we don't always have to wait for government. Sometimes we can just get on with it ourselves. In reality, of course, we need both strategic policy direction from government, as well as the much more agile, local need-focused project teams who can really make things happen. So can we fully recession-proof households? Not really. But without a doubt, we can do a lot more and get a lot closer than where we are right now.